This is Principles of Management, and this session is on the environment and corporate culture. Organizations exist, as do individuals, in a physical and social world. There are environmental influences that impact how and under what condition the firm operates. The term organizational environment refers to everything outside the borders of the organization that has the potential to impact what is happening inside it. These influences are sociocultural, economic, political and regulatory, natural, technological, and international factors, which are collectively referred to as the general environment. These are things that change over time, usually in a slow and incremental way, but on occasion through some abrupt or disruptive event. For example, the social environment changes over time. On one of the cable stations, you might find an old episode of I Love Lucy or Father Knows Best. Watch the show and then compare it to what your own life is like, the relationships, the dialogue. In these shows, you may see things that seem quaint or of another era. Events can also disruptively change the way we live. For example, 9/11 changed how we view the balance between the relationship between personal privacy and the national security interest. The general environment, then, consists of a myriad of things. The international environment includes everything happening in foreign countries, from political events to the extent that goods are imported and exported, to how ideas originate and disseminate around the world. And these are things in turn that affect our own economic and cultural development. The technical or technological dimension is the easiest to describe. The fact of our conducting this course online and at a distance is evidence of how things are changing in education. The sociocultural dimension is one that describes the norms, customs, and values of the current environment. As antiquated as the behaviors in an episode of I Love Lucy may seem now, that is how antiquated the behaviors we are engaging in today will seem 50 years from now. The economic dimension has both short and long-term aspects. It considers factors like inflation and unemployment rates, but it also includes longer-term trends like comparative rates of growth of service and manufacturing industries, especially here in the U.S. over the last 5 decades or so. The natural environment refers to what we normally term the environment, the natural and physical resources of the planet, the condition of the air and water, the Earth's biodiversity, and all of the issues that are related to that. In addition to these overarching assessments of the general environment are the things that the organization has to do every day, to purchase materials and supplies, to deliver things. These are things that describe the organization's task environment. These factors include the expectations of customers, the status of the organization's competitors, the power or depth of suppliers, the labor market, the availability of qualified and trained people, and the salaries and wages they require. We understand that the environment is something that is undergoing change, and that aspects of it are related to each other. If everything that is currently affecting the organization is known, and everything that is about to change is also known, and its implications are understood, designing the functions of an organization would be a relatively easy task, but uncertainty enters into this mix. Some things simply cannot be predicted, and so a level of flexibility may be needed. What managers search for are strategic issues, something defined as, quote, events or forces inside or outside the organization that are likely to alter its ability to achieve its objectives. There's a line between what happens inside an organization and what happens outside of it, but this is a somewhat permeable boundary. Ideas flow inward and outward, and some people within the organization have a role of interfacing with the environment. For things that would be termed conceptual sales, services that are intricate and dependent on specific needs of a client, there's a very strong connection between the needs of the client and the service to be delivered. The people who make this leap, who interface with a client, are known as boundary spanners, as they reach out from inside the firm and deal with the outside environment. As we said, firms do not exist in isolation. At times, other firms may have talents and competencies that are better and more cost-effective than a talent that may be retained in-house. A small firm may hire a lawyer or an accountant to do things they have not the talent to do. Suppose, though, the need for a service, a manufacturing or assembly or distribution or export-import service, were more integrated with operations. The organization might consider one of a series of options: just purchasing the service, forming a strategic alliance or partnership with an organization in which there is an integrated communications, or merging, where two firms unite and have a common ownership, an acquisition, where one firm purchases another, or a joint venture, which is a contractual business undertaking between two or more parties. It is similar to a business partnership, with one key difference. A partnership generally involves an ongoing long-term business relationship, whereas a joint venture is based on a single business transaction. Just as individuals have cultural contexts, so do organizations. Culture is a set of key values, beliefs, and understandings, norms, that are shared by the members of an organization. These beliefs and understandings are so often ingrained that much of a part of a routine that they reflect assumptions about the way the world works. They often go unquestioned. Do people in the place where you work have offices with doors? Do they have them at a certain hierarchical level or above? Why? Is the office dress casual or formal? Why? In your work environment, is it okay to have fun? How does the world work in your organization? How does your organization view how people should behave? When everything is working smoothly, there's little reason to question these assumptions. When everything is not working smoothly, there is much reason to question them. They are embedded in our office arrangements, dress codes, success stories, role models, slogans, and many other ways. There are essentially 4 types of organizational cultures, and they vary based on 2 dimensions: the degree to which the organization needs to be flexible, and the extent to which the organization is internally versus externally focused. An adaptability culture comes in response to an environment that requires a fast and determinative decision-making. It involves risk-taking, autonomy, and a learn-from-our-mistakes attitude. An achievement culture is one focused on serving customers in a relatively stable environment. It involves hard work and dedication, a sense of competitiveness, and a zeal for personal accomplishment. An involvement culture is one with a caring, family-like atmosphere. It is inwardly focused and cooperative. When the environment is stable and the organization is inwardly focused, consistency is the theme, and the virtues are rationality and efficiency. The positive thing about a corporate culture is that it creates a sense of shared values. There should be a match between the corporate culture and the individual's personality. If a risk-taking and autonomous culture are unappealing to a person, but a family-like and caring atmosphere is, that person should apply for work that are capable of matching their own personal needs. Everybody wins this way. Working against one personality just increases frustration. A manager is a person who operates within a firm and within an established culture. A leader is a person who recognizes that a particular culture is not working for an organization and has to change it. It can be an ugly process. If a person leading an organization comes to the decision that he or she must change the organizational culture in order for that organization to survive, he or she has to articulate a vision for what he or she believes the new culture to be, to convincingly communicate that vision to employees, and then establish the procedures, metrics, and rewards that match the new value system. Okay, now that we have established the importance of the external environment of the organization and how organization develops systems and cultures to interface with that environment, we're going to consider the topic of managing in a global environment, which is the subject of the next session. Have a nice evening.